Hi, Abdur. Thanks for joining this NetScaler, Citrix NetScaler class. And now Citrix has started calling Citrix ADC. You must heard about that, ADC. That's Application Delivery Controller, actually. Okay.
Okay.
So let me introduce myself, then we'll take your brief introduction, then we'll start our first session of Citrix NetScaler ADC. So I'm having, my name is Ratnesh Pandey, and I'm having 14 plus years of experience in IT infrastructure. And that is not limited to IT infrastructure. You can think of beyond that, like cloud journey and Azure, Google Cloud, AWS, and virtualization. In virtualization, VMware, Citrix, and sort of Hyper-V as well. Coming to the networking, I have hands-on experience and real-time experience on Citrix NetScaler and VMware NSX Manager, and I'm also CCNA certified. So, so I'm part of global online IT training, which is providing training to mostly US and Europe region and some part of Asia Pacific like Dubai, Singapore, and also we are covering Kuala Lumpur. Okay, over to you.
So my name is Abdurrahman Badad. I have some IT background. I won't say it's much. It's very brief compared to yours. So, I have a few of the basic understandings, and I've been working on those understandings in these past week and 2 weeks. And my goal here is to gain a better grasp of networking in order to be more successful with Citrix. And I feel that the networking background will help with Citrix as well, and then understanding Citrix and kind of being able to navigate it successfully on the job.
Oh, really? Sounds good. And in which city you are living actually, Abdur?
I live in Houston, Texas.
Okay, yeah. Texas. Got it. And by the way, Abdur is the right name? I'm pronouncing correct?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so before starting Citrix NetScaler, so like basic networking terminology you must gone through to understand like how networking works, like part of CCNA, right? Like all the components of the networking. So before jump on Citrix NetScaler, let me discuss some basic concept of Citrix NetScaler actually. Okay.
Okay.
So it's a Citrix product, and if you talk about the naming convention, nowadays Citrix is changing the naming convention of the product very frequently, actually every quarter or 6 months. So the name is like Citrix NetScaler. In short, we can say NS. And finally, Citrix changed the name of the NetScaler, and they started calling from 2017 or 18, in between 2017 and 18, that is called Citrix ADC. So here ADC stands for Application Delivery Controller. Okay, it's ADC, Application Delivery Controller. So some people call it as Citrix NetScaler, and some people call it as like Citrix ADC. So you should not confuse by the naming. It's the same actually. Okay, it's a branding of the company. So we have to not confuse about the name and brands actually. The same purpose, same name actually. Okay. So the main function of NetScaler is it is providing you the services like VPN solution. Like you heard about VPN?
Yes, virtual private network.
Yeah, same like mobile VPN, same like you're accessing, connecting VPN from your laptop, right? Same thing actually.
Okay.
So VPN, and you can say access gateway. That is the first feature of Netscaler, access gateway. Okay,
Okay.
and coming to next one, that is load balancing. So LB is also main feature of Netscaler, Citrix Netscaler or Citrix AEC. So load balancing means like suppose you are using any service, your company is using any service, and you want load balance of your backend servers, then you can use Citrix ADC or Netscaler to load balance your workloads. Okay.
Okay.
Coming to third feature, which is very common actually, and we can call it as GSLV. I think this is very most important for you for your project requirement.
Uh-huh.
Make sense? GSLV, and the GSLV is like global server load balancing. So that is like global server load balancing, and it is used to make sure that suppose your company have multiple data center across the globe, and your company want Netscaler should be scattered across the data centers, and the traffic should be traffic should be managed by the local Netscaler or local data center. Their GSLV is going to play role, and actually it works on DNS, and it's very powerful solution to make sure that your all the data center providing the services to end users with the minimum utilization of the bandwidth. Okay,
Okay.
and the next feature which is applicable, you don't worry about that the recording. I'm going to send a recording, the Zoom recording. Okay, so
Okay.
in between, if you want to make a note of something like GSLV or something, you can make a note of it, else recording will be there, so don't worry about that. Okay,
Yeah, I'm writing too. It just helps me remember when I write.
yeah, right. So it's a good habit actually, to writing in your notepad or writing down in your diary, right? Sometimes it's really helpful out, right? So started with VPN access gateway, load balancing, GSLV, and also you can use as a like firewall. Firewall functionalities is
Mhm.
also available with Netscaler and many more actually. It's like a lot of features available with the Netscaler, right? So
Mhm.
it's like endless. You can say you can use as a router. You can use your Netscaler as a router, right? So router
Okay.
is a networking device, or you can use as a L2 switch. Okay, so a lot of features are available in the Netscaler, but our focus will be on main services, what is in use in your in your project. So our focus mostly will be on that, on those things actually. Okay,
Okay.
so if we talk about other features, endless, right? So it's we talked about the feature you are going to get in Citrix Netscaler or ADC, right? The complete networking functionalities. Okay, so these are the features. Let's talk about the models. What are the models available for the Citrix Netscaler actually? So BPX, you must read about that thing. The BPX one, that's the first model, and second model is like MPX, and the third one is SDX, and the last not least, that is CDX. Okay, so it's like we are talking about something some explosive type RDX, BPX, MPX kind of thing. Of course not, because we are talking about our Citrix Netscaler models actually, right? So the
Mhm.
first model is like BPX, and the second one is like MPX. Okay, and mostly I can see in your environment MPX will be mostly used. SDX is there, and the fourth and last, that is CDX. Okay,
Okay.
so BPX is like it's like a virtual appliance. It's kind of virtual appliance. Okay, and your MPX is like hardware, complete hardware. Okay, and the third is SDX is like hardware, and on top of hardware you have hypervisor. It could be Citrix hypervisor or VMware hypervisor, right? So you have hypervisor on top of your hardware, right? So it's like SDX, and the last, that is cloud solution, actually cloud based ADC. Okay, when I'm calling ADC, that means NS. Okay, Netscaler. Clear?
Okay.
So how many models we have? Like 4 models. So it
Mm-hmm.
will depend. I think in your project, if I gone through with the JD, it was mostly MPX, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll review it again. We'll review it again and make sure that the right model we are going to discuss in our classes. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the basic starting point. What are the models available? The hardware model, virtualization model, right? And you have cloud-based model also available within the Citrix NET Scaler. Is it okay? Any question, Abdul?
Not so far.
Okay. So far so good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's move on something on slide as well. Okay. Then we are going to jump how the what are the functionality available within the Netscaler. Okay. So actually Citrix is calling it ADC, right? Application Delivery Control, ADC, right? We already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to talk about these things, actually, these benefits of the Netscaler ADC. So it can support hybrid environment, right? So suppose you have on-premise environment, you have cloud environment, or a mix of public private cloud. Netscaler is going to support you. So even Netscaler is supporting Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure Cloud as well. So you wanna go to marketplace of the cloud players like Azure Marketplace. You go and buy the BPX model available within the cloud and get it configured in your environment and use it as you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So reliability, like it is going to take care of your, the resources, the workload, and as per your requirement, you want. So when we talk about reliability, so you heard about DR, disaster recovery, Abdul?
What was that again? The last part?
Disaster recovery, BCP, business continuity planning.
Okay.
Are you aware about that?
No.
No problem, no problem. So we'll talk in detail, okay? After this, after the session, we'll talk in detail what is the DR and how you are going to achieve through Citrix ADC or Netscaler, right? The
Mm-hmm.
performance also is a critical point for any IT infrastructure company or any company, actually. So you are going to use, because I already told you, right? There are 4 types of Netscaler models available: BPX, MPX, and you have SDX, and the last CDX, right? So if
Uh-huh.
you want maximum performance output throughput kind of, so it is recommended to go for MPX or SDX. Those are the best, models of Netscaler. And also you are going to get security from Citrix ADC through through SSL certification, encryption model, decryption model, cryptography model, actually. So security is also going to ensure by Citrix Netscaler, right? And management is quite easy because you can manage from the single console, and also you can manage through your the command line, how we manage the Linux servers, Linux workloads. So it is easy to manage as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
hybrid environment you can manage through Citrix Netscaler, reliability, okay, the performance, and the security and the management, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what I discussed with you, let me show you in the presentation as well, okay. So here we go. Uh, okay, let me go there directly. Okay, here we go. So can you see the same thing what we talked about in our whiteboard session, right?
Yeah.
So here is a BPX. So BPX is like it's a virtual appliance. So when we call virtual appliance means it will be installed or hosted within any hypervisor. So there are a lot of hypervisor. We are not going to talk. We are not going to talk about those hypervisor in detail. You don't worry about that. I will start from basic. You make you understand how hypervisor works and how you can install or host VPX, Netscaler, or ADC boxes within the hypervisor, any hypervisor, VMware. So there are a lot of players in hypervisor market actually. You can talk about VMware ESXi. There is Citrix Hypervisor, Gen Server, and Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the VPX, and this is the MPX. So MPX is like hardware Netscaler, right? So it's a completely hardware. You need power supply, you need network connectivity, and you can manage, and you are going to get maximum throughput through MPX box. This is completely hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this the third one we talked about in our whiteboard session, that was SDX. So in SDX is like you have hardware, on top of hardware you have hypervisor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of hypervisor you have multiple VPX. Same VPX is lying here, so not single, multiple. Clear?
Okay.
Okay. And the last, CPX. So I already told you in our whiteboard session, like CPX is cloud based solution, like cloud based of Netscaler ADC. So it is going to manage your Docker. So how much you are friendly with cloud, Abdul?
Not much.
Not much. Okay, no problem. So we'll start from basic for you to make understand how cloud works, and where if you in your environment in your project some role will be from cloud, then definitely we are going to touch upon all those things. Okay,
Okay.
else we'll skip it. Make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm notating some
So
of those things as well. And then after our class, I'm gonna focus
sure.
on
You
those
do not
things
be
also.
worried. I'm going to send this documentation. I'm going to send you recording. Okay.
Okay.
And after, because this is a demo session, right? So I'm recording it. So that's why I'm not taking a lot of questions from you, and I'm just finishing it as because we are doing the demo session kind of thing. Actually, I'm just making a
Okay.
record of this. Okay. Yeah. So don't worry. After this recording, our session will be more interesting actually. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So here you can see the hypervisor vendors. So here you have Microsoft Hyper-V, right? You have Hyper-V, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have VMware vSphere, right? And Gen Server, and this is the Linux-oriented KVM, right? These are the players actually. You need not to worry about those things. Those are like external players. And coming to cloud, so you are very much friendly about it's a very famous public cloud player, Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Azure, and soft player is like IBM Cloud. That is not that much famous. Like Google Cloud is more famous than software IBM, right? So it is actually supporting cloud-based solutions, and also it is supporting on-premise infrastructure. So this is the cloud one, okay? So I'm not going to touch upon that, those things actually. So here we go. Let me just talk about some basic thing on Netscaler, okay? So, so this is Netscaler IP. So that's a management IP. We call it as like Netscaler or ADC management IP. Okay. And another you have VIP, that is a virtual IP. We call it as like VIP, virtual IP. Okay. And the third one is
Okay.
subnet IP. Okay. Understanding of subnetting, that is going to help you actually. So subnet IP, and you have Netscaler IP, you have VIP, and you have subnet IP. These three IPs are going to help you to manage your Netscaler. Okay, Abdul?
Okay.
So